All right, here we are at yet another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. And I have to say, this is episode number 443. And if you've listened to all 450 hours of training we have in these podcasts, you probably aren't a rookie anymore. Right?
Professional lister, at least.
Yeah.
At least professional listener.
Exactly. So we are going to dive deep today, and I do promise that we have new things coming. I have newsletters and new communities and all kinds of things for the person that has listened to many of our podcasts here and gotten our introductory information and wants to dive deeper and get more information later on. So all that is coming. I promise. I'm working diligently. I have a new book coming out, and I've been writing the book, and the book is going to spawn off all kinds of coaching programs and all kinds of things. It's just incredible. So I never thought I'd get this far with this crazy stuff. So here we are. In any event, today's title of the podcast is the golden age of creative real estate actually upon us rookies? Here's the description. Is it actually a time where novice real estate entrepreneurs can be on the same playing field as 30-plus year veterans? More important, if you are tired of hearing seasoned investors talk about how they got in at the right time and how real estate deals used to be easier, this single episode is going to take 97% of all rookies from the sidelines and put them in the game. Not only that, it will allow any rookie to play as good, if not better, than seasoned pros. Today's golden era in creative real estate is using powerful technology that allows deal hunting, structuring, and acquiring almost hands-free, and 10 times better deals too. To be blunt, if anyone has a pulse and two brain cells to rub together in this golden age of creative real estate, you can pile up dough like contractors pile up snow during a 5-foot snowstorm in a parking lot. Now listen up. This isn't a nice to listen to episode. This is like an all-you-can-eat buffet that only has value if you haven't eaten in a week. The big boys haven't caught on to this yet, what I'm about to tell you, which means you have a brief window of time now to actually get into the game and put your big boy pants on and actually be a pro, be like them, because they haven't figured it out yet. How is that, Peter?
See, I like the way you spin the words. Have you ever thought doing a song lyrics? I think you could be like, Elton John's next lyricist. Come on, some good. I'm just smiling
that's
at
a compliment.
It's your the imagery. You talk about imagery, but like you come up with it. Obviously it's winter, piling up snow in this parking lot. Like it's winter, folks. It just snowed. He's got inspiration. He used a snowblower, 2 days ago, Sunday. He was so happy. It was Monday morning. It was so cool, right, Bill?
Yeah. The snowblower is old like me and dependable like me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do some housekeeping. So I'm going to drop some bombs today. I promise I'm going to drop some bombs. All I'm going to say is if you want any of them or you want more information about what I'm going to talk about today, you need to go to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com. And I will send you back either where you can get them or I will tell you how you can implement them or help you. So there are no links in the chat. In the description. Actually, there is a link, but I don't remember what it is. It's not anything important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I put the email address. Into today's description. So if you're looking for the email address later on, you can find it there. All right. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're watching us or listening to us. Make sure you like us. And if you give us a 5-star review and send them to the same email address, flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com, I'll send you gifts and bonuses. So I'm ethically bribing you right now to give us a 5-star review. So actually, I'm not ethically bribing you. You've already decided you want to do it, but you stop listening to this podcast and you forget about it later on. So I'm trying to make it so you won't forget about it later on.
Got it.
So that's it, Peter. So here we go. Are you ready?
Let's go.
On your marks, get set, go. So let's start off Bill style today and talk about what does golden age mean. So definition is this: a period considered the peak in history, or a time the greatest achievements were made.
Yeah, I like that second half. I like that second half.
Yeah, me too. Golden age is a period considered the peak in history or a time the greatest achievements were made. If you look at how this word derived, meaning where it came from, you will see that it's a root, like where the core of the name came from Greek and Roman poets. They used it to mean living in an ideal time period. So golden age was, according to the Greeks and Roman poets, living in an ideal period.
Right.
That's more like gold. Yeah, it's more like what we're going to talk about today, because it is an ideal period. Now, I want to emphasize something, because we're in Bill's head right now, right?
Oh, God. Oh, God. Help us all.
What we're going to talk about today is really spectacular. It's like over the top, and I'm going to prove it to you. Okay? I'm gonna prove it to you, because I'm going to actually use some of the technology on this call.
Oh, cool.
Okay? On this podcast.
All right.
But realize it's the worst it will ever be right now. Right? Because remember, in 1920, when the automobiles were really like automobiles, right? Think about 1920. Cars were like the thing. I mean, coming up from horse and buggy, they were exceptional. But now look at them 100 years later, and we look at those cars, and they were actually the worst cars that we ever had.
Oh, well, yeah, it's comparison. It's a comparison.
They were in the beginning, and they were kind of primitive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching one of those TV shows, Yellowstone, 1923, and you look at one of the towns, and there's horses going up and down, and then cars going up and down, horses going up and down, cars going up. It's it's the strangest thing we've ever seen. But yeah, there was a huge transition then. We're going to get one of those newfangled cars, and they're driving in the freaking no top, no heat in winter, like convertibles. Like, they thought it was great. Like, dude, put a cover on the thing, and look at us now.
And to realize that we changed presidents, and the new president just yesterday or day before yesterday raised $500 million. No, million. A billion. Oh, billion. $500 billion to enhance technology, mostly AI. So what we're using right now is primitive and compared to what's coming, but it's really far advanced compared to where we came from.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, which brings me to ask our listeners to consider cyclic eras. Cyclic means occurring in cycles or regularly repeated, right? Kind of like the pandemic happened in 1916, right?
Yeah.
And then it happened again in 2020. That's a cyclic type of era, right? What I'm referring to is the famous 1920s, right? Which were often called the Roaring 20s, right? And meant a period of significant economic prosperity, rapid social change, and a culture flourishing across the Western world. Okay, so get what I'm telling you, Peter. I'm referring to what I'm going to show, what we're going to talk about today. Look what I'm bouncing it up against. The roaring 20s. Listen to the words I'm using, right? This is how spectacular I think it is right now in creative real estate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's the roaring 20s. I mean, we're in the 20s, aren't we? We're in the 2020s, not the 1920s, but we're in the 2020s.
Oh, we're there, and we need to roar.
Right. And we're talking about significant economic prosperity, rapid social change. I mean, just the Realtor Association, National Realtor Association, being sued, that's a rapid social change in real estate. It changed how real estate, and the realtors kind of play it down, but it changed. I mean, I got a couple properties I'm selling with a realtor right now, and it is significantly different.
Yeah.
Significantly different. Right? And a culture flourishing across the Western world, aka America. Right? So I'm not using my words lightly here because I do feel this way, right? Yeah. Which means, by the way, was and still considered having a sense of optimism and total exuberance, particularly with today's noble and mass-produced technology like artificial intelligence and tools just like it to make common folk look and feel like Einstein himself. Because that's what AI does, right?
Yeah, I saw some of the announcements of things it could do, like with health. They started with health, cancer and things like that, not just make money or something. They're talking about all the things it can do. Now, I'm hoping it's going to do one more thing that I guess they talk about. But when they do this, one guy said this morning, garbage in, garbage out. So I hope they teach the AI to notice maybe that's garbage. What else you guys have?
Right.
Right. Don't just jump in with your assumptions where they should start if you're so smart. Let the thing go to the beginning of a cycle or the beginning of a problem, back up. Where does it really start? Because that's a big miss in a lot of subjects. They don't get the real beginning where you got to start the thing, and they assume we should be going this direction. Don't do that. Right. But if it's as smart as they think it is, it should kind of sort that out and maybe tell us what it should do.
So check this out. I heard an interview, and I'd be goddamn if I could remember who it was, or I was reading a book. It was about AI. This is the only book I bought about AI, and I don't know where I put it. Otherwise, I would read you the quote, and I can't. I could see the book, and I don't remember the guy's name. He worked for Google. Google's number one, and Google was started by one person. Right? I forgot his name. Let me see if I get it. Larry Page, I think, and Sergey Brin. I think I guess it was two people. Well, they started in 1998.
Wow.
Right? So that's 27 years ago. And this guy that I was reading a book knew them, and he was at a party, and he spoke to Sergey. Right?
Yeah.
I said, how's it going? And he says, it's going okay, so they're talking. And he said to him, well, you realize, because they started the search engine, right? The free search engine, and it didn't have anything on the page. That was the big thing. They were up against Yahoo at the time, right? And Yahoo had a bunch of ads, and they were trying to monetize the page. Google wasn't interested in that. What Sergey told him is you don't understand. Google was designed for artificial intelligence information gathering. That was 27 years ago.
It started from the beginning for that.
27 years ago. That's why Google was invented.
Jeez.
Okay? That was the purpose of it. So they've had 27 years. And Google owns what they call Gemini, which is an AI tool. And it is the toppest of the technology because they've had 27 years to not only gather information, but to develop the technology.
Yeah.
Now, when you do a search on Google, on the top of Google, 98% of the time, it's AI answering the question. right? It's not doing a search. It's going to AI, and AI is doing the search. Gemini, right? So this is one of the reasons why we're in a golden era, right? And this comes about. I tell you why this comes about.
Yeah.
Because my birthday was just recently, and my kids always ask me, what do you want to do? And I never pick gifts. I mean, I used to have them buy me books and stuff, but that's lame, right? So I make them. I don't make them. I ask them to spend the day with me. So
Sure.
we live in Connecticut, and I hadn't been to the Rhode Island mansions in a very long time, and we went a few weeks back to the Breakers, which is one of the more popular mansions up there, and it's all about the golden era, right? It's all
back
about
then,
that.
100 years ago, the Vanderbilts,
Yeah.
all the guys with the money, the
Right.
railroads and the oil, they built these huge mansions before there was income tax, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about why there was a depression, and I don't know why they don't talk about it enough, but the depression was caused by income tax.
Mhm.
It was actually, and the reason why I know that is because if you listen to the book, and I say listen because you can get it on YouTube now, or read the book. If you read the book,
The Creature?
Creature from Jekyll Island, he talks about the depression in there. He talks about the set taxes and the guys that created our money, the Chases and the Rockefellers and the Childresses from England, Childs or whatever they're called, right? They created a depression with income tax, right? All right, so how does the ungeeky guy or woman, usually a guy in our case, lay their hands onto such sophisticated technology without chewing up their wallet and their precious time trying to figure it out? Right? And not to pick on you, Peter, because normally I do pick on you about your age, but today I'm not. I have the fortunate ability of having to deal with you, right? And sometimes you could be a royal pain in the ass, and you know that. Right, especially when it comes to your questions and technology, because you get hung up on all the significances that really don't matter, but in your mind, to make things work, they matter. So I go through that with you, and I have a couple other friends that I go through this with. I go through it myself. My daughter has to put up with me, who is 32, 31, or 32 years old. She has to put up with me. It's just the way the world is, right? So obviously, we did not grow up with this technology, right?
No, they teach it in school now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find a lot of us like get on the computer and work on things, but nothing is explained in like even what you call things. I know what to do sometimes, though I don't know what it's called. I just do it. So the theory is lacking. The doing isn't too bad, but it's awkward, know. And I've learned a lot, and I've come a long way. The problem is, guys like us, and you too, we only ask when we don't know what we're doing. So the only time you ever hear from us is when we have a problem. 90% of the time we're fine, 10% maybe not, but we're getting there.
All right. So enough of this blah, blah, blah. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm going to call one of our brand new AI voice assistants and act like I'm a seller who wants questions and answers. Now realize this is an inbound call. We're working on inbound calls and outbound agents. So an inbound call is when somebody calls in and has questions, right?
Okay.
Outbound is when the assistant actually calls out.
Yeah, calls potential customers, leads, but this is somebody's calling back. So the conversation the AI is doing is responding to somebody who should have some interest.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just fumble around my phone here for a second.
Get
it ready.
Yeah, if you think about it, every time you pick up the phone, you call the bank, it's an AI talking to you now.
Yep.
I go, agent, please, live person, now. No, I don't want to see the menu on my balance. No, I don't want to see my menu on my interest rate.
All right. So I just need to, if you can hear it, just shake your head, okay? Because I want to make sure everybody else can hear it. Because otherwise, if I talk, she'll be trying to answer my questions. Ready? Can you hear it ringing?
Hello, I'm Reba, your real estate assistant. I can answer questions, get cash offers, schedule meetings, or connect you with an agent. How can I assist you today?
I have a house for sale.
Great. I can help with that. Could you tell me your first name?
Yeah, it's Bill.
Nice to meet you, Bill. What's your last name?
Hawthorne.
Thanks, Bill Hawthorne. What's the best email address for you?
It's 123, actually, flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com.
Got it. And what's the best phone number to reach you at?
It's 203-537-6666.
Thanks for that. What's your reason for wanting to sell?
My wife wants to move to Florida, and I can't get her off that, so I'm going to have to sell my house in Connecticut and move to Florida.
Ah, the Sunshine State is calling. How soon are you looking to sell? Is it as soon as possible within the next 30 to 90 days or no immediate rush?
There's no immediate rush, but the right price could probably motivate me to go sooner than later.
Got it. What condition is your property in? Would you say it's excellent, needs minor repairs, or needs major repairs?
I would say it needs minor repairs.
Thanks for sharing that. Is your mortgage up to date or are you behind on payments?
No, it's up to date. It's actually free and clear.
That's great to hear. What's the property address, including street, city, state, and zip code?
It's 73 Swain Avenue, Meriden, Connecticut, 06450.
Thanks for all the details, Bill. I'm now analyzing your property using our True Offer property analysis. While I work on that, do you have any questions for me?
No, not right now. I want to hear your offer first.
All right, I'm on it. Based on our analysis, properties similar to yours are currently valued at approximately $300,000 in this market. Here are the offers available for you right now. 1. Quick cash. Offer $240,000. 2. Market match. Offer $300,000. 3. Max value offer $309,000. Which of these offers sounds like the best fit for you?
So if the comparables are $300,000, how are you offering me $309,000? Well, how does that happen?
Great question. The max value offer includes a bit of extra negotiation potential, allowing for a slightly higher price than the current market value. It's designed to give you the best possible return while still ensuring a fast closing. Does that sound appealing to you?
It sounds too good to be true, so that's what I'm worried about. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I totally get that, Bill. It can seem surprising. Our offers are based on a thorough analysis of market trends and property conditions. There's no hidden catch, just options to fit different needs. Would you like to discuss this further with an agent?
Yeah, what would the agent do? Is he going to try to sell me something I don't want? I mean, I don't like talking to people. I have phonophobia, so I don't like talking to people.
No worries, Bill. The agent is there to help answer any questions and guide you through the process. They won't pressure you into anything you're not comfortable with. If you'd prefer, we can keep things simple and stick to our conversation here. How does that sound?
No, well, are you able to make a deal with me? I mean, suppose I wanted the $309,000. What happens next?
If you're interested in the max value offer of $309,000, we can move forward with that option. I can help schedule a meeting with an agent to finalize the details and ensure everything goes smoothly. Would you like me to set that up for you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, how long does it take for you to sell it and for me to get the money?
With the max value offer, the process is typically quick. You could close and receive your funds in as little as a few weeks, depending on how everything lines up. Would you like to proceed with scheduling a meeting to discuss this further?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's schedule a meeting.
My assistant will send you a text and schedule that meeting for you via text. Great. I've scheduled a meeting for you. You'll receive the details soon. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Looking forward to helping you in
when
your
did you
sale.
schedule the meeting for? You didn't even ask me what times I had available. How do you know I'm going to be able to be there?
I apologize for the oversight, Bill. Let's make sure we find a time that works for you. When would be convenient for you to have this meeting?
How about tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
Perfect. I'll set up the meeting for tomorrow at 2 p.m. You'll get a confirmation soon. Anything else I can help with?
No, thank you for your help. You've been helpful enough for now. I don't know what happened to her, but I don't know. Could you hear that okay?
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
was, I think I heard some AIs that you're working on a little while ago. This one was crazy. I mean, the part I like best? You're not going to believe it. When you said, my wife wants to move to Florida, she goes, the Sunshine State.
Yeah.
Seriously, just to have like the wherewithal, AI intelligence wise, to just have something like a human answer, like, the Sunshine State.
Right.
I mean, seriously. But, even if you know it's an AI, what do you care? You want to sell the house, that's the data. Whether it's a person, the data is the data. And eventually somebody gets on the phone and, you can sort it out. But, man, to get all that without having to talk to a person, oh, my God. Perfect for the millennial age, I suppose, huh?
Right. I'm sorry, I keep messing with my phone because we record this on my phone and I want to make sure we continue recording. So, yeah, so that property was just a random property. I actually own the property and have a tenant in there, but so I just picked a random property because I was curious to know how much it was worth.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
But the point is that she's an agent because she said, I'm Reba, an agent. So we're not trying to pawn off that it's some human doing that it's actually an assistant. Like you said, when you call insurance companies or you call big companies, like any of those, you're going to go through the dialer system, right?
Yeah, and you're not offended. That's just how it is now. And you hope that they're saving you money in the business and the company that you're part of as a client by not having to pay some person. Okay, fine, I'll deal with that if it saves me some money. Just as long as they get you there, then you get a person when you need them.
Right. So it's pretty awesome, right? I mean, there's not much of a lag between my question and her answer. That's the biggest thing. That's what's been the holdup is the technology, because it used to be in the back office. What would happen is the conversation, my voice and her voice would have to be transcribed, and it would read the transcription and then make the answer.
Yeah.
And that has changed somehow. I don't know the technical aspect of it yet, but that has changed somehow. So there's like milliseconds of a lag between the questions and the answers. All right.
Somebody taught the AI to do speed reading.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. Right. And we will soon have an agent that will do outbound calls like that.
Yeah.
But check this out. So, all right. So you got an inbound operator like I just had, right? So the first question that most of you should have on their mind right about now is, how do you find or hunt deals or find these sellers to call you?
Sure.
Right? Like a bloodhound in a jailbreak, right? How where do you get that agent from, right?
Yeah.
Bloodhound in a jailbreak, right? How about this automation tool, right?
Yeah.
A robot or a trained tool scrapes the web while you're catching your beauty sleep, skip traces the leads found, then puts them into a piece of software that, one, pulls the comparables for the property, puts the data it found online into our famous creative calculator, right? This is why the calculator was originated way back when. It wasn't for our users to use it. It was for this point.
Right.
When we did it 2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then this robot figures out a slot deal. Now, it can do all the deals, or will do all the deals, right? But we want to do the slot deal because the slot offer, which is a sandwich lease option transfer, is when the seller holds a property for 3 years and makes the most amount of money. So the slot deal is always going to be 33 to 35% above market value. That's why she's giving me the price of 309. We're still working on that. There's a couple things in there that I noticed, right? We're still tweaking it, right?
Yeah, because the 309 is not that percentage. That's really low. It would be much more than that, right?
It'll be, yeah, well, it will be almost 400,000.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so we want to give that offer to pique curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be the first one forward, right? Then get this, Peter. So it not only scrapes the internet, gets the deal, it scrapes the person's name and gets their phone number, their, all that information, puts it into the system. Once it goes in the system, it automatically puts it in the deal calculator and it produces which deal we should send first. Then it produces a memorandum for the seller. So it makes the offer immediately.
So right now you're talking about not what you just showed us, somebody calling in. You're talking about the robot that sends these out in the first place to what gets scraped on the internet.
Right.
And
So
they
the question
get that
is
sent to them.
So the question in your mind should be, because I talked to the inbound rate robot, how would you find and hunt down sellers fast, like a bloodhound in a jailbreak?
Right.
I'm telling you how we're doing it.
And that led up to the point of somebody calling in then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or texting, right?
Yeah.
They'll probably call in, right?
Yeah.
Now, check this out. This will sound insignificant to most, but I have to tell you, this was a hurdle that we had to overcome. Mostly Sean. Sean does most of this, right?
Yeah.
Once we had the memorandum, we take a picture of it. So it's a photograph. And that's what we text. And the reason why we do that is because, first of all, older people don't have to worry about the technology.
Mm-hmm.
You just open it up and it's like looking at your grandson or your favorite dog or a horse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, you don't have to push any buttons. Like with a PDF document, you have to push buttons to download it. And some phones can handle that. Some phones can't. This works on everybody's phone. It's a picture, as if I took a picture of the bridge in my backyard and sent it to my mother.
Would that be a JPEG in that case?
Yeah. Or a PNG, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, no, I've seen some of them.
So now that would prompt somebody to call you, right?
Well, yeah, when texts go out, a large portion of the time people go, well, what's your offer?
Right.
And you can be there all day texting back and forth, but but you can't do that. It's very unwieldy. It's just perfect. What's your offer? Well, they get the offer before they even ask, because that's what they want to know. What have you said for 10 years? What do people want to know when they're selling a house? They want to sell it. No, they want an offer. You don't sell until you get an offer, because you want to compare it to if it's what you want and what you think you can get. You want to see what's the damn numbers.
Yeah, Michael says he must have put this up when I would just say connect me to an agent. That's right. I went a little bit further with it because I wanted you guys to hear how the robot sounds. I would have went to the agent much earlier. By the way, I have them changing that from agent to entrepreneur. Do you want to speak to one of our specialists?
Yeah, because they'll think it's a real estate agent otherwise, right?
And that's fine, because we are going to be using this for real estate agents. Real estate agents could use this as well.
Yeah,
it's not just investors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm talking way ahead of my time. But I suspect within the near future, meaning the next maybe 30 days, possibly 60 days, I think it'll be 30 days. Imagine we do what we just talked about. So we scrape the internet, we get the lead, we put them into our system or into a system, into your system, right?
Mm-hmm.
It pulls comparables for the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Puts the data into our famous calculator, Creative Real Estate Calculator. it's going to pull the slot deal. Now you're going to have an option. You're going to have an ability in the calculator to put which deal. So if you only want to do subject to deals, you can put that first.
Right.
I suggest you do the slot deal because it's the highest number that you can offer, right? Then it produces a memorandum. It takes a picture of it and it texts it to the seller. The next thing that's going to come out is the outbound agent is going to call and say, did you get my offer? I texted it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, we just sold a house and we have leftover buyers. This is why I'm doing this.
Yep.
Right? So that's coming. It's not here yet, but it is extremely close.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. The robot and the software has not bothered you yet, right? It's working as if it were me because they're training the robot to be me, a 30-plus year veteran, right? Using the software and making the offer. So the robot is supposed to be a mini me, right?
With a nicer voice.
Yeah, and probably a better attitude.
And no cigar.
No cigar.
No, but everybody feels comfortable talking to a nice lady, so that's perfect.
Right. And like I said, we're using JPEG and PNG pictures so the texter or the seller receives it. There's no technical issue. So like in our particular case, I think we get between 75 and 100 leads a day.
Yeah.
So now, as of the release of this, we are now making we should be. We're still working on that because there's a few things going on there, but because of our VA. But we have the potential of sending out 75 to 100 offers a day. Automatic. While I'm in bed sleeping and while you're exercising or whatever you do, cutting your grass or whatever you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you can buy properties if you're making, 25 offers a day?
Mm-hmm.
Automated? We call it our offer blaster. They're struggling with the name right now because supposedly somebody else has that name. But now listen closely. These tools are not just nice to have, are they?
No, because someone else has it and you don't have it. Like anything, you're in the horse and there's a buggy going down the road, or you're in the buggy and someone's got a Corvette.
Right. So there's a difference between feasting at the all-you-can-eat buffet and out back scrounging for the scraps in the buffet's dumpster. There's a big difference because this is why I'm telling you this is the golden era, because I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes. But the point is if you're not using this technology, and I am, that's the difference between me being in the buffet and, eating and having a good old time, and you're out back in the dumpster scrounging around for scraps. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Now,
right.
just in case you think I've dazzled you, don't believe it because I have more. What if while you were working your 9-to-5 job, which I truly am sorry for that, and that's not a dig or condemnation or anything like that. I really am sorry that my wife does it, and I watch her go through it all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she does it, but she does it. But if you're busy doing something else, or hell, you don't even want to work, you want to just be with your grandkids and go to the beach, right? Another AI voice robot calls all of these people you texted these offers to and did this. This is what I'm talking about. 1, talk to the sellers that called in just like the call I just did. 2, left. Now this is important. This is, we talked about this. I've been talking about this for a while, and I can't get it done. We talked about this on the coaching call because this is the make break point that I can't get enough of my coaching clients and my staff to do, and is the reason why we are not making enough deals. We're making deals, but not enough deals. You need, because when I was back during the pandemic times, which was a year or two ago, I was in my coaching group. I had a deal hunting mastery that I used to do once a month. And I had a WhatsApp group for these guys. And what I used to do is I used to go in the WhatsApp group and say, hey, it's Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to work from 3 until 5 today. Do you guys want to come and join me and watch me work? Mm-hmm. And I would put them on a Zoom call, and I would go into the system, and I would call people and talk to people, and I would just do my daily work while they were watching me. Right? It was really awesome. And I learned just as much as they did, right? Because they had questions I had no idea they had questions about. Mm-hmm. But here's my point. This is when I figured this out. You need to leave 9 to 13 voice messages about the 33% over market offer you have for them. 9 to 13 messages for a couple reasons. Number one, I don't answer my voice messages that much anymore. I probably answer them twice a week. Number one, I text almost everywhere. And the biggest reason why is because I'm an Apple guy, so my text comes up on my computer. Probably 80% of my texting is done on my computer while I'm working. It's not done on my phone. The other, probably about 15% is when I'm driving and I talk into the phone, texting. And then the other 5% is me actually texting. Right? So here's my point is, you need to leave 9 to 13 voice messages to get somebody's attention. That follow-up that we used to say was 35% is now double. It's about 70% of your deals are coming from follow-up because people are not paying attention. Right? They're just not paying attention. They're distracted. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. There's a lot of communication going everywhere.
Right.
3 channels on the TV and now it's 1,000.
Right.
So it's just too much stuff everywhere.
Right. So I don't want to get into this, but I'll have you know that I have tripped upon some idea that has got me into a completely different universe than I've ever been in my entire 61 years.
Really?
Yep. And that is drifters. Most people are drifters. They're just drifting through life, and they're just whatever, and they don't have their attention fixed on any one thing, and they're being pushed around like a pinball machine. With the ball bouncing around, just goes here and goes there randomly, just goes wherever the least path of resistance is. Mm-hmm. And 98% of population is or are drifters. The difference between the guys that make it and the guys that don't, and I mean, when I say guys, I mean girls too, but the people that make it and don't make it is about 2 or 3% are not drifters. They're non-drifters. They have goals, they're focused, and they're thinking. Their thinking is not invaded by the environment and other people's ideas. So you need to realize when you're texting someone or talking to somebody, they're a drifter. They're just meandering around life and just no real purpose, no real goal, just dealing with their problems, and that's as far as they can go. You need to invade that drifting and give them a purpose. Right? Mm-hmm. Which brings me to number 3. They actually talked to the seller, right? So this agent left 9 to 13 messages, or they actually talked to the seller and made an appointment for you. So when you were done with your 9 to 5er, you would have actual real appointments with pre-qualified, motivated sellers that just wanted to know more about the offer that you already sent them. Mm-hmm. That was designed by me. It's my offer for you. Right?
Yep.
Do you think life would change when you had a few of these sellers saying yes? Right? I think so.
Well, sure.
But let's push on. Let's push forward because it's not over yet.
Wait, there's more?
What do you do when the seller says yes? Well, You now call upon your document producer agent to fill out all of the documents you need for this seller, to sign up and make everything as legal as marijuana in Colorado, or 21 being the drinking age, or banks having to pay interest on deposited funds. It's as legal as any of that. But we're not done yet, because now you get the documents. What do you once you get the deal? So now you get the documents. The agent produced the documents for you. So how much work are you doing so far? Right? This is why I say it makes you look like you're Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now you got the documents and they sign them. You send them over, we'll say DocuSign or whatever, and you get them signed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now what do you do? We're not done yet. Well, now you call on your selling agent. You get the point. These are like employees. Each one of them is a very specific thing. What most people don't realize is with AI, or robots as I'm calling them, because I'm a boomer, right? What happens is they work best on very specific jobs.
Makes sense.
Right?
You train them for a specific thing.
Too many people try to get an AI to do 10 things, do the whole project in one prompt, and they make mistakes. The better way to do it is to have multiple agents, and then if you so desire, hook them together. So if there's 10 steps in the process, you have at least 10 agents, maybe 20 agents, and break up some of the tasks so they do half the task, and the other agent does another half the task. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm breaking up the transaction into micro pieces, so each agent does a piece of it. And then the overall software runs these agents. In other words, in the software world, it's called triggers and tags. So when one gets done, it triggers the next agent to do the next step. Right? So now you're going to trigger your selling assistant agent, right? And this agent will take all of your buyers' texts and calls and show a house. They actually show the house. They send people to the house and they show it to them. Now you're going to talk about an empty house with a lockbox on it, and they're going to send the buyer is going to send you a picture of their driver's license, and the agent's going to say, okay, I got your driver's license. It's okay to go in. Right? So by the way, if something happens in that property during that time period, what do you have?
You have their license, their
So
ID, their phone number, and a police phone number.
You pull all that data together and give it to the cop and say, here are the people that were in the house that day.
Yeah.
Right?
Run the plates.
Yep. So you get then once they're in the house, you get the buyer to actually fill out an application, because the agent's going to send them the documents, what I used to call the flyer pack. It sends them the documents, which has how does this work? Frequently asked questions. It's 2 pages. It's got like an MLS sheet that shows the property description and how many square feet and all that kind of stuff. And then it has what we call the next step form, which talks about their deposit money. And then it has an application. Right? And you start talking to and reviewing only the people that send you the applications.
Wow.
Because the agents did all this for you. Your agents, your employees. Right? Imagine how much it would cost if we had to hire all these employees to do this for us every single day.
No, you wouldn't, and you couldn't. So you'd be trying to do it all of it yourself.
Right. So now let's go through the whole thing. Imagine this, Peter.
Okay.
Imagine this. Am I doing okay so far? I'm not like going too fast or too slow or anything like that.
Well, I've been following it as it's been unfolding, but everyone else has been seeing this stuff happening one way or the other. So
So
there it is.
imagine this. Imagine this. One, you have a top-notch lead agent working for you. These are the different. You would have to hire these people in your business.
Right.
And now what we're doing is we're hiring these trained agents that I have trained to do it my way. Right? So you have a top-notch lead agent working for you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you have a first-class phone assistant who gives you pre-qualified, motivated sellers who want to talk to you about selling their house. Right?
Yep.
Number three, you have how about a 30-plus year veteran agent, right? That's modeled after me to do your deal structuring, so you never have to think about making a bad deal. Number four, then a superlative documents agent, right? That has done thousands of docs in the past, do all of your legal documents. Number five, then once you have the seller sign these completely legal documents, you initiate an out of the world agent to talk to and or text sellers to handle all their questions about the property and get buyers to send in their applications and other documents so you can decide who is your best buyer. And the number six, now that you have a buyer picked, your employee or your last wizard agent to have them do all your closing documents to sell the property or the lease option to put them into the property so you can collect big checks and move on to the next deal that's waiting for you. Right? Now, there's a lot more to this because, like, for example, with sellers, the big thing, especially when you're testing, I'm writing a book right now about this, right? I don't have a name for it, but I got to tell you, it's probably, I've written about 6 or 8 books, and this one, like, it has it all, man. It's so cool. It is so, I read it, I get goosebumps. And I'm writing it. I go back and proofread it, and it's just like the next day or 2 days later, it's just incredible. Because it's taken me all this time to get things concise and easy to understand.
Yeah.
And I just keep, so it's all these things that keep dropping here on the podcast, these little pieces of wisdom, all in one place, a concise place. It's all together in order and duplicatable, right? So one of the things that I'm not talking about here is that when you're testing and you're first doing deals, the most powerful thing you have is building a buyer's list. The agent's going to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
Going to build you a buyer's list. So when you get a new property, you can have an agent send out an SMS or a text message and an email and say, I got this property.
Mm.
Right? And I haven't told my partners this yet, but the offer that they have, the offer that they're giving, this is something I got in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I want my offers to look like.
Oh,
So it's actually got a picture of the house.
nice.
So when they get that text, it'll be a picture of their house.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't talked to Sean about that. So once we get the bugs worked out of our offer blaster, I'm going to make one of those, and we're going to input the picture onto the offer so they can, when they open their text up, they're going to see it. Anyways, I'm ahead of myself. So as you can see, bluntly, if anyone has a pulse and at least 2 brain cells to rub together today, they can do creative real estate deals. Today's tools are like going from a horse and buggy to NASCAR and winning the Daytona 500. Fact. The real estate game has changed. And trying to do it like us old timers had to do it is like driving for dollars in 1985. It just, won't work in today's environment. You can still get a house, right? You could still do deals, but not to the volume that you have to do now. The number one thing that has happened is that a lot of people are doing it, so there's more choices for our sellers, right? So if there were 100 sellers in a market, there might have been before 3 to 5 people like us that would do that. Yep. Now I think there's 40 or 50.
Sure.
But here's the thing. There's not really 40 or 50. There's still the 3 to 5 that are doing deals. But there's 40 to 50 that are amateurs or rookies, and they bought a piece of software and they're doing the outflow. They're sending the text and they're getting the conversation started, but they can't back up the conversations. So when you have, and I know this because, and I have recordings of me talking to sellers, like hundreds of them, right?
Yep.
That I have on my computer, and I can prove all this, right? When somebody says, "Oh, I get 10 of these texts a day," what do I say, Peter?
Did you get an offer? Did they show up?
That's right.
Yeah, the last house we went to, he goes like, no one showed up yet, just you guys.
And we made a big mistake because I told him I was going to send him documents on Saturday, and did not send him the documents on Saturday. My fault. And by Monday, he had a realtor because he said, "You guys said you were going to send documents," and I didn't get them, so I went with the realtor. That's how it is nowadays.
Yeah, you got to. Well, we always know you got to move fast, but yeah, with those other 40 or 50 people, they feel they have so many options, they can pick and choose. They're not like desperate.
Not options like an option agreement. They have choices. They have
options with a small O.
They have other choices and other opportunities.
Yeah.
Right. So they think. Yeah. Right.
But they're also getting. I've been talking to a lot of people lately, and they also get the problems with the realtor system. They've heard about it. They know what's going on, and they want somebody to help them. And they know they have. I got properties that are over leveraged. They can't sell them with the realtor. They got no choice. So they like what we can do as investors with a Sands release option trend. They like it because they got no choice. That never changes. A real motivated seller, but you have to be there, show up, and just do it quick.
So I just want to inject this a little bit because I had a huge realization the other day, and I didn't tell you this.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've been saying that we're overloaded with information, but we're starving for wisdom, right? I figured something out.
Yeah.
It just popped in my head when I was writing something, right? Which happens a lot. Here's what the deal is. We're overloaded with information that's unproven. It's unproven information. We think that the information's good, but we haven't proven that it's viable.
Right.
It's unproven information. The wisdom that you're starving for is proven information because it's knowledge plus experience is the definition of wisdom. So a lot of people carry around unproven information in their mind thinking that they're ahead because honestly, what most people think is valuable information is run-of-the-mill conversation. And they don't know it. My partner was like that. He would sit down at a lunch table and he would, Mona and I, and he would tell me, he would recite the news, the same news that I watch, but he thought he was of the elite and had the information that I didn't have. But it was just common knowledge. Most people have information that they think is senior information, and it's just common knowledge. Yeah. So your seller is going to be this way. They think they have unproven information, thinking that it's senior information. Oh, I got 10 people that want to buy my house. It's unproven information.
Yeah. Would that lead to the lack of trust that they have and then start to feel that a lot of this is a scam?
That's right.
Which is why we actually send documents and we show up.
That's right.
Cool.
That's why we're cutting edge with information because we're not doing what everybody else is doing right now, just texting and trying to make an appointment.
Yeah. You know what's weird? If you think about it, at the one end, it's the highest tech you can have, the AI and all the automation. But at the other end, bang, live people show up because in the end, a machine's not going to come to the door. An AI is not going to knock on the door and sell it. Yep. A bank is a real place with real people. It's real money. And, it's a real house, and it's real sellers, real buyers. So when we show up as real people, it actually completes the scenario from the highest tech to the oldest school of like a person knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more trustworthy than having somebody
I
actually
had-
show up.
I had a partner one time when computer, because I like yourself have the age span of like TVs evolving, right? I mean, I was born in '63, so TVs they came out in the '50s, so they weren't fully evolved, right? I've watched cars evolve, right? I've watched all this technology evolve, and one of the things that I have watched evolve probably the most is the internet.
Yeah.
Right? Because we didn't have this stuff back in the day. Right?
Nope.
All right. So without cutting edge technology like I just spoke of today, there is absolutely, positively, definitely no way, absolutely no way you're going to scale enough to replace your income. Just can't happen. We are in the golden age right now. It's at your fingertips. So doesn't mean that you still can't watch a free YouTube video and listen and read a book and do a deal or two. Doesn't mean you can't do that. It is still possible. It won't be for very much longer. Right? It's kind of like using a rotary phone on your wall. Like, how long can you go before you have to spend $1,000 for an iPhone? Right? Using your phone on the wall.
Yep.
Right? How long can you go and not have a computer or say, I'm not computer smart? I'm not that good at computers. How long can you go using that excuse? I'm not good at computers is no longer a plausible excuse. It makes you look like a dummy. It makes you look like you really don't want to solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say, I don't know how to use a computer.
It's like saying I don't drive.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
You're definitely not going to replace your income. Definitely not going to replace your income, or retire early, or do deals while you are sleeping, or send out hundreds of offers while you're eating your cornflakes in the morning. Can't happen. Just can't happen.
Mm.
And I promise you, if you think that it's been going too fast, I have a lot of faith in what I've heard, but I'm extremely optimistic at what the new president has just done, like spending $500 billion in AI. That scares me a bit. But what calms my anxiety is that there's 3 people, and I don't know their names because I didn't look, but there's 3 people that are going to be in charge of it. See, here's the thing. I'm not afraid of AI because it's been around since 1998 with Google.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to worry about with AI is whose hands is it in? Is it in Batman's hand? Or is it in the Joker's hands? Or the Penguin's?
Exactly.
Right? So who's running it? The Penguin and the Joker together, or Batman?
I just hope it's not the Riddler.
Yeah, or the Riddler. There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's like the guy from Oracle, and is the Google guy there?
I didn't look. I haven't had a chance to look, but I know he put 3 guys in charge of it, and that's where it's at. And why do you think a president would do that, Peter? Why do you think he would do that?
What, have 3 people?
No. Why do you think he would go into the private sector and make sure there's $500 billion in resources to develop AI? Why is he doing that?
Well, the government doesn't get anything right. Okay. So I think you need private sector. I mean, the money is coming from, I think it's Japan, SoftBank.
Why would the president of the United States want to do that?
Well, maybe because that way politicians can't change it next time, and right?
You're missing the point.
Go ahead then.
There's other countries that have development that have, like China and other countries that have developed this software. Like, I'll give you a classic example. We had a shortage of cars in this country because the chips for the computers were made in Korea or some other country.
Well, the raw materials were coming from China, And then we
China.
made the raw
Right.
materials. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then go
And
back
we were
all the way
at
there.
the mercy. We can't be the free world if we're relying on somebody else for our supplies, right? So
Yeah.
we can't be the free world if somebody else has better AI than we do. If we have somebody else that has robots and the technology like we do, we can't be behind in technology.
Yep.
Why do you think the new president has said we're going to put people on Mars? Why do you think that is? You think it's important that we go to Mars? No, we're the free world, right? And I know that it's probably a little bit. I mean, it gave me a knot in my stomach when I had a couple of youngins tell me, "Well, how do you know in 1969 we were really on the moon? All we saw was on TV. Was it fake? Was it Hollywood? Right?" So I don't know, but I do know that I'm optimistic because when I hear a president, not the president that we're talking about, I'm talking about a president that does that, that means we are in a new era. We are in the golden age. We are at a point, and I promise you, at some point, it will go the other way, just like with real estate. We were in a great place with real estate until everyone else wanted to do it. Now we're in an overcrowded market with other investors and other entrepreneurs all trying to do the same thing. The difference is who's a drifter and who's a non-drifter. Because non-drifters will pay attention. They'll do what they're supposed to. They'll use the right technology. They'll focus in. They'll have a plan, like I want to do this many deals. They'll have a purpose and a plan to use the technology. And when you have a plan and you're focused like that, guess what doesn't happen in your mind? Negative energy doesn't enter because positive energy is much stronger than negative energy, and it trumps the negative energy. So when you have a positive goal and you have positive energies and you have positive purposes, it knocks everything else out.
So I guess lucky for us, the AI doesn't have much emotion, huh?
Yeah, there you go. All right. So if you're curious about any of these tools I spoke of today, I would gladly give anyone a one-on-one demo. I have to sneeze. Hang on. Excuse me. I would gladly give anyone a one-on-one demo so you can see how they work, just like what I did earlier with the call. And if you're curious about it, it's not a sales call unless you want it to be. But I can show you how to do all that. Just send an email to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com. And either myself or I have 5 guys that give demos every day. Or there's 5 guys and girls that give demos every day. I could hook you up with one of them, and we can show you how all this works. So, because I'm just kind of, so basically here's what I'm doing at the end of this podcast. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm proving what I'm going to tell you. Right? Because what did I tell you before? What do we have with information? We have unproven data. I don't want to give you unproven data. I want to show it to you. I want to go on a Zoom call and click and point and show you how it works. I'll open my account and show you how we're doing it in my account, or one of my reps will do that. Right? This is not about me making money. I make money. I do real estate. And I have other companies. I make money. I always manage to make money. Even when it's really bad, I manage to make money. Right? You know that. You've been around me for a long time.
Sure.
It's not about that. It's about you making money and getting caught up. It's about you becoming that new 30-plus year veteran, right? Because really, a few months ago, I came out with how to skip the beginning steps of a creative real estate investor. And that's what I've done. It's not sexy enough to talk about, but that's really what I've done is I've taken all the beginner steps out. There is no more. I have fully backed up. Real estate is made to do, not learn. Because you'll learn how to do it while you're doing it. And I promise you, when I release my new book, and I would tell you that, I would tell you that what the name of the book is, but I haven't come up with that name yet. I have a few names, but it's not catchy enough yet. And it's all there. It's all there. So thank you for listening to us today. Hopefully you enjoyed everything. Hopefully you got the message. and hopefully you'll get off the sidelines and you'll get in the game and you'll start making money, right? Because that's what my intention is to watch you make money. I want to be around people that are making money. I actually have, and I've been too busy, but I actually aspire to going on a cruise, you and I, Peter, going on a cruise with all the people that have made money from real estate and have a blast for 3 days in some Caribbean island or something. And just, we'll have some, afternoon sessions to talk about real estate. But I aspire to that time period where we have enough people making money that they just come there and they just tell their stories about how they did the things that we helped them with. And I just completely aspire to that.
Wow, that sounds awesome. You got my attention.
Yeah. All right. So make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're watching us or listening to us. Make sure you like us. Make sure you leave a review. If you want to take leave a 5-star review and take a snapshot or a picture of that review and send it to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com. I will send you hundreds of dollars worth of tools, scripts and tools and courses and whatever you ask for, I will probably give to you, because my job is not to be an internet salesperson. My job is to help you get through deals. And pretty soon I'm going to have a community that you'll be able to join. And in that community, you can get coaching for not a lot of money in that community. So that's what I'm aspiring to. So I really want to help. That's what I'm trying to tell people. So enough. We're at 11 minutes past the hour. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. If you have questions, you can go to Flipping Houses for Rookies @gmail.com, or you can go to Flipping Houses for Rookies, or go to Creative REI Replay, and you can catch us there. Okay, guys, have a good week. Flourish and prosper, and we will chat at you at podcast number 444. That's the next one. Good day.